Hey, what's up, Will? How's it going?
What's up, Figsy? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good, man. I can't believe that they're still together after all the crap that's come between them. Can you?
Are you talking about your ass cheeks?
Yes, I'm talking about my ass cheek. Way to fucking ruin my joke, Figsy.
Heard that one too many times. Sorry.
Oh man, I just heard it the other day for the first time. I thought it was fresh and new, but no, I guess I got old crap.
I used to
Uh,
work with this. I'll say this older gentleman. He was yeah, how every workplace has got one old guy, and he'd always walk around every morning and tell a dad joke. And because I worked with him for like 7 years, I heard that joke like 10 times.
no,
But you
man.
always laugh every time.
I was watching the highlight reel before the thing, and it was like, hey, I was thinking, have I worn this shirt before? And right in the last two pictures, I'm wearing this damn shirt. I need to get a new wardrobe just for the show.
I'm
And
sinking into winter, and I haven't had winter for a while, so I'm probably gonna pull some outfits out that I haven't worn before.
yeah, you can put all your Christmas sweaters on and stuff. And speaking of new, you shaved. There's no more. No
Yeah,
more
I
lip.
know. I feel really young, so I'm regretting doing it, but it was getting annoying. So
No more lip caterpillar for you. But no,
yeah, it was getting
you
in
look
my food, so I got rid of it.
you look fresh faced. So tell me, who do we have on tonight, Fixie?
So we are episode number 55. Will, we've made it that far, and tonight we've got Dan Gomez coming on the show. Dan's a collector of Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, sealed, graded games. He works at Wada Games. He is the head of research and authenticity at Wada Games. Please welcome Dan to the show, guys.
Hello, hello. Oh, I get an applause. Nice.
Yes,
What's up, Dan? How you going, man?
Nice. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
You're on the West Coast, right?
I am.
So
Yep.
yeah, we're in the same time zone. Well, for now, anyway.
Oh, okay. Are you SoCal or Northern?
Oh, I'm in Arizona.
Oh, you're in Arizona. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, we flip flop time zones whenever they bust out daylight savings times. But not right now. I am in the Pacific time zone, so a little after 11 here.
Right on.
I always struggle when guests ask me what time it is, but thankfully I looked it up and I'm like, ooh, Arizona and California are the same. I can give you guys the same time as well. So I just asked Will what time the show starts.
I try whenever I spam the announcement for the podcast and all the Facebook groups. I usually just copy and paste the last one, so it's got all the times and the time zones on there, and it's right. And when I did it tonight, I forgot to change the name, and so if you see Erica and Will, and you see Dan, Mark and Erica as our next guest, and see Dan's face, I got most of them, but I fixed it. Hopefully,
we fused. We did the Dragon Ball fusion.
Oh no, we've already had one Dragon Ball enthusiast.
Yeah, we had another one.
No, I love Dragon Ball Z. Don't get me wrong. I prefer the original, to be honest. But little Goku doesn't get much love. But at any rate,
I prefer the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z over the newer stuff.
No, I mean, I'm talking about when he was a little kid and he still had his tail. You remember that?
Yep.
OG. Anyway, I'm a Dragon Ball fan. But Dan, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your collection. What do you collect for? What are you after? What's your goals?
Oh man, it's changed so much. I've been collecting since I was 12, so it really just started like it was me and my uncle just going to flea markets. He would just bring me along, and at that age, I didn't really didn't know anybody online. I wasn't really connected in any forums or anything like that. So it was really just everything that I bought was stuff that I thought was cool. So it was like very elementary collecting, just picking up cool stuff. And then over the years, that became a collection. And it started seeing what some of these things are going for and stuff like that. But yeah, around, I don't know, I guess around 2014 or so, kind of got involved or started looking at stuff on YouTube, like people's collections and stuff like that. took inspiration from some folks, and then started kind of going a little heavy from there. And I was really collecting everything at that point. I was just like, okay, like I want it all. I want all the cool stuff, the rarest stuff. So I just started going out and going to thrift stores and flea markets and stuff like that, and just picking up what I could get. But in 2016 is when I really took it to the next level, because I started collecting full sets of Nintendo platforms. So primarily NES, Super Nintendo, N64. I completed a full Super Nintendo set, about half of it was complete in box. Full N64 set, which about 25% of that was complete in box. And then the NES set was where I kind of stopped. I was 40 games short of that set, and just decided, like, I'm done. Like full set collection, like full set collecting really takes it out of you, especially if you don't do it in a healthy way, which is over a long period of time. I did it really quickly. But I don't know if you guys collect full sets or anything, but it's
I made the attempt with PS2, and I got halfway through, and then I was like, no.
Yeah, PS2 is a monster.
Yeah, dude.
So
So
I collected a full PS3 set, and I understand your words, because I'm at the point now where I sold off 150 of my shovelware PS4 games, because I'm like, I'm not doing a full PS4 set. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And now I'm like, I want to sell more PS4 games, and I'm looking at my PS3 games, and I'm like, there's like 400 games that I'd love to sell in this full set. It's hard to break up a set.
Yeah, I agree. It is tough to, you really just got to get to like a breaking point where you're like, man, I just can't I can't anymore. Well, that's where I was at that point. That was like 2018, I think. 2018. So then I was looking to see, like, okay, should I collect subsets? Like, where do I go from here? And what I wanted to do is collect something that didn't have a lot of eyes on it yet. And I was thinking, and I'm like, okay, well, I think Xbox is actually pretty underrated, and not a lot of people are collecting it heavily. So that's what I did. I sold I sold a lot of my Nintendo stuff, broke apart my sets. And then I became, obsessed with finding variants for Xbox games and learning, variant information on Xbox stuff. And with the help of a good friend of mine, he's known as the Pirate Pimp on Instagram. He was one of the original Xbox variant hunters as well. We kind of tackled some of the variants on Xbox, and we're finding all kinds of new stuff that wasn't, out in the wild yet, or wasn't published on any forums. And so that was super fun, just being able to do something that not a lot of people were doing already. For example, for like Nintendo games, you have hundreds or thousands of eyes on it already, people who have been hunting variants for that stuff for many years now. Whereas the Xbox stuff is like not a lot of attention was on that stuff. So so that was really fun. I did that for a long time, and then I did my Xbox Darkroom project, which was more like a historical preservation project, uncovering artwork, documentation, prototypes. I have a pretty vast collection of prototype hardware for the Xbox. Some stuff that just took me years and years to get up until this point, but so from there, I started getting heavy into press kits, employee awards, trophies. So it's just sort of evolved over the years, and then now I'm just, kind of doing a little bit of press kits, and I've slowed down on the press kits. I've had so many. They take up a lot of room is the problem.
They're weird shapes, so you can't just store them all on one shelf.
Exactly. And then I started like having to put them in storage, and at that point I was like, I'm not a huge storage collector. So like for me, if I can't see it, I don't really want it. It like, you
I
know,
got the same rule.
yeah. So yeah, I started kind of weeding things out and selling a few things and trading a few things. And at this point, I'm really picky about what I buy because I don't know, I feel kind of almost jaded at this point. Like it's hard to find stuff that makes me excited. So yeah, and what's helped actually is I've gotten into other hobbies to kind of rekindle that spark that you first get when you started a new hobby. Everything's new, everything's exciting because you don't know it. And I've been collecting a lot of like sports cards and, and other things, and so that's been pretty exciting. But the games that I've bought have been like just really rare, like proofs or preliminary art or prototype stuff. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at these days in terms of my collecting.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, if without the community, because Facebook is my big stomping grounds, but without the community, without somewhere to show off and talk to people about it, I would have been burnt out long ago.
Yeah.
And it's weird collecting. You got a meteoric rise, and then you hit a plateau, and slowly, little by little, you start collecting less and less. So I feel you there. I'm very picky about what I buy now.
Yeah.
Are you still finding stuff? Where do you find these press kits? Is it all eBay, or do you got some secret honey holes in your town?
Oh man. Well, a little bit of eBay, but a lot of this stuff is honestly through connections. I think the most underrated thing that collectors kind of take for granted is building relationships and connections. Through friends, through your peers, and other collectors and people perhaps in the industry, getting to connect with them, on a personal level and getting to know them, and then they kind of start opening up and sharing things with you, and one connection leads to another, and then you just by word of mouth. So that's basically how I get most of my stuff these days. It's just talk to somebody, say, hey, like, do you know anybody that collects this sort of stuff or has this type of stuff? And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, my buddy used to work for this company, and he has maybe some awards or something, and so that's basically how I do it these days. I don't really browse eBay too much. It's just really competitive there.
So where were you networking to find these people? Is it just local people at shops, online, or social media, I should say? Where are you finding these folks?
Everywhere, social media, through friends, just asking around. I luckily I know a lot of people in the industry, so they've kind of bridged the connections and made these connections for me. And it takes a lot of work. So I will say that it takes a lot of work to do something like that. But if you're willing to put in the work, it could pay off in the long run, not just because you may get stuff, but being able to make connections with people, make new friends, maybe provide. Recently I met the guy who drew the original cover for Halo.
I seen that first. That was awesome.
Yeah, and he's not mentioned in any credits, in any game credits or the instruction booklet. Typically on the back you'll see like credits on the back. Like, he's not mentioned in anything. And by some chance, I met his coworker at a coin show of all places, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like I and we just casually talked, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like I worked for this company. We made the cover art for Halo." And then I got his phone number, and then we talked, and then over the several months, like I got to finally meet the guy who had a part in the cover for Halo. So yeah, it kind of works like that. It works kind of weird. Like, you just talk to people, and then stuff happens.
That cover that's right behind you.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's such an underrated thing, making connections when you're collecting. Like, I've been saying it, and I've been doing it for almost 10 years now, and like at least a quarter of my collection I wouldn't own if it wasn't for meeting other collectors and finding things that maybe they can't find in their region or their country and getting things for them and vice versa, or even just
Yeah.
telling people what you do. And you know you might tell someone what you do and 5 years later you get a message, hey, I'm finally selling my collection and I might
Yeah.
have something that you don't own. And
Yeah.
it happens to me all the time. And like I used to think when I was collecting a full set, I'm never going to find this game. And like, if I just would have paced myself, you come across these rare and so games and different things like so often, and
Yeah.
it changes your opinion on what you think is like what's truly rare and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the people I rub elbows with in the community, they have bad taste and they have nothing I want. So
Bad taste.
so I just got to go out and find the shit myself.
Nice.
No, again, I'm picky. It used to be full set collecting. It's easy. You just go. Do I got it? Yes or no? But no, now you got to be picky and choosy.
Yeah, it's better that way, I think.
So
I mean, that's a good point. It comes with doing this for a long time. Like, I think we've all been doing this to the point now where you don't get influenced by watching a YouTube video and going, those are the 10 games I want to buy. You're doing your research and you're going, all right, well, I've got these games and then there's another game in this set. I want that game because, I found out that this one's missing from my collection. And,
Yeah. I mean, for me too, it's like during that time when I started going heavy into Xbox, everyone knew me as the Xbox guy. They were like, "Oh, I have cool Xbox stuff. You go to that guy." And at one point, like I didn't have to go out searching because people would just message me stuff and be like, "Hey, like I found this prototype controller at a Goodwill. Like, what do you know about this? Or like, are you interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, like totally." So things kind of just work themselves out that way too. Like if you become super, super dedicated in a niche thing, people will think of you when they stumble upon something. So, sometimes stuff just kind of comes to you at some point. If you're known as the guy for a certain thing.
Not even stuff, information. Like I regularly get people sending me photos of PS3 games that they've discovered, and I've never seen them before. And like I love that. And it's not just one person; it's like different people from all around the world. And like if I haven't talked about it in a video or it's not on a list, and they find it, they're going to send me a photo of it because they're like, well, someone might be interested in it, and they know that I'm interested in it.
Sure. Yeah.
So Dan, you are the head of research and authentication at Wada. How did you hook the gig up?
Was
there an interview? Did you pull a little tab off of a little piece of paper tab with the phone number and call it?
No, it's actually a great story. When I found out about Wada, I thought it was really cool what they were doing because they really paid attention to the variant information. So when I was collecting Xbox is when I first found out about them, which was like 2018, 2019, around there. And like into 2020, like I started noticing that like they put a lot of care into the variant information on the label. And I actually used that to learn some things about certain variants. But for me at that point, I was really going heavy into variants, and I'm like, I think I can help. Like, I think I would be really good at this job, is what I told myself. I started an Instagram account called Modern Database. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. But
I'm following it. Yeah.
Okay. It's just a page where I share more modern variants, like stuff that people weren't paying a ton of attention to, like Xbox 360, PS2, PS3, like more anything past like the year 2000, like 99, 2000 and up. I was really focusing on that stuff, and I was really going heavy at it, and people already knew me as the Xbox variant guy, and it was very easy. It was a very easy transition to go to other consoles for me, because if you can do one thing, if you're really good at identifying variants, just period, you can do any console. It doesn't matter if it's PlayStation, Xbox, Atari. You just have to have attention to detail. And really that's it. Attention to detail will get you a long way.
You're kind of looking for the same things as well.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking at copyright changes. You're looking at, logo changes. You're looking at address changes. And like, you really have to be able to really pick apart the packaging and figure out what's going on there. So anyway, I was doing everything at that point. I wasn't no longer just doing Xbox. I was doing all these modern consoles. So then I started Modern Database. Wada noticed, right? They weren't authenticating or certifying modern games at that point. They didn't do PS3. They didn't do PS4, DS, any of that stuff. And that's because they knew that wasn't their forte at the time, and they're more of like a responsible grader. They're not going to grade stuff that they don't know well, because they don't want to grade fakes or counterfeit reseals and that stuff. So it was a great opportunity for me to kind of be like, hey, like, I know this stuff really well. But they sort of reached out to me first and were like, hey, do you want to, maybe work as a contractor for us for a little bit, or, and kind of work together. And I'm like, sure. So I was doing that for a little bit, kind of helping them out here and there on some of the more modern stuff. And when Collectors, the Collectors is the parent company of Wada, PSA, PCGS, when they got acquired by Collectors, at that point I was offered an opportunity to go work and basically build the research and authentication departments from ground up at their new facilities. So that's how that happened. I just kind of got my name out there, and I was super relentless in getting my name out there and putting in the work. And luckily they noticed, and that's really what led to me having this role.
No, that's awesome. You tell me that you can get paid for doing this. I've been doing this for free for 10 years.
Oh man, I know. I tell people, I'm like, man, I get paid to do what I used to do for free, and it's not so much anymore. I actually train, or I have a team who does what I used to do. But in the beginning, when we were first getting started, I was doing a lot of the researching and the authenticating and stuff like that. But now I have a really, really good team who's really good at both of those things. But for people that don't know, Wada has 3 core departments. I mean, we have other things like unboxing and sealing and stuff like that. But your game, essentially, when you send it in, it goes through 3 core departments. It goes through research first, and that essentially means your game. You take your game, we identify the variant. Not only do we identify the variant, but we look for more. We look for other variants while we have it in hand. So let's say it's a game we've never seen before. It's never come through grading or authentication before. We will take the time to like actively look for new variants as we have your game there, so that we can properly display what the variant is on the label. That's something that that other grading companies don't have the luxury of doing, because as far as I know, we're the only grading company that has a separate research department. So your game will come through research. It gets researched. It gets spec'd, as we call it. We assign the variant, and then it goes to authentication next. So authentication is a second step. At that point, we'll determine if it's an authentic game, if it's inauthentic, if it's resealed or counterfeit. It gets tagged, and that specific game doesn't go through grading. So grading is a third and final step. Research, authentication, and then last is grading. So at that point, your game is actually assigned a grade at that point.
How often are you finding new variants?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and it's every day we're finding new stuff, and I wish we had more time to publish the information. But what I always say is like, as soon as that game goes out into the wild, it's free information because we put the variant information on the label. So if you want to find variants, just go on eBay and type in Wada PS3, and you can see all the different variants that we've found. But the other great way is looking at our pop report, right? Like you just look and see the variant information there.
It's the hard part is buying from any other retailer who just sells a game as brand new stock photo. It might be a reprint, it might be the original print. You don't know.
Yeah,
but you got to buy it to find out.
Well, I mean, that's something that we're really good at identifying, because reprints for modern games, as you know, is pretty rampant. And you can't always tell, but sometimes you can, and when you can tell, we will catch it. So all the way going all the way to the security cases on PS3, sometimes that's literally the only way to identify a reprint is by the case. So we think it's important to note that information on the label, say, hey, this is a security case variant of this. Yeah,
this is reprint bullshit. That's what it should say right across the top.
How are you guys going about the PS4 games that are being done? I'm not sure if there are any differences between some of these new PS4 games and the reprints. The case designs or anything like that.
It depends. So yes, there are games that have no differences that are reprinted. A lot of games do have differences. Luckily, Sony, first-party Sony games are pretty good about notating differences by the part code. They typically append a number at the end of the AC code, so that's how you can tell it's been reprinted. For example, like Spider-Man on PS4 has had a ton of different reprints. And even into the greatest hits or game of the year, there's like 3 game of the year, I think, variants. And the only way to tell is the expiration date on the offer, like changes or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
But you can tell. So it's a clear reprint.
For sure. And I mean, yeah. And sometimes there is no difference. Maybe there's an insert missing. Maybe they stopped including a certain like promotional offer inside of the case. These don't have manuals, but they sometimes will have like a little paperboard card in there.
Yeah.
Will that change the weight by maybe minimal grams or things like that?
Yeah, it's we do weigh every game that we get in, and luckily that has saved, and we image every game. So that has saved us for games like PS2 where you can't see inside, but there are case variants where they stopped including the memory card.
Yeah.
And the only way to tell a lot of the times is by weighing it. Unfortunately, if you have it in your hand, you could feel it too. I mean, you could feel the back of the case.
Fun fact, Dan, Figsy can identify a game, whether it's new or a reseal, just by smelling it. And this is no joke. This guy is.
I can tell if it's been reprinted by the smell, because I've opened so many new games. And
nice.
What about hiring Figsy to smell games to find out if they're new? But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's part of the process. I mean, if you look at other authentication hobbies, or not hobbies, but if you look at other hobbies and you look at the way they authenticate, for example, sneakers, like shoe collecting, high-end shoes, they sniff the shoe.
Yeah, they put their nose.
And it's funny because I would say my favorite scent is the opening of a PS3 game. So it comes down to me really enjoying that smell. And when I don't get it, I'm like, well, that's a reprint or that's a reseal. And I've gotten refunds or like my returns, and the reason being is because it was a resale.
Yeah. I love the smell of like old cardboard. Like if you smell, like you can tell right away when a box is like a reprint box, because it does not have that old like 80s, 90s smell to it.
I used to
even the
huff gas
plastic feels different
for fun.
and different things like that.
Let me ask you, let's say 1 out of 100, what percentage of games will you get in are you like, oh, this is fake, and you got to send back and give them Is it
Um,
1 in 10, 1 in 100?
so there's not. I wouldn't say it's fakes. There's not a ton of fakes coming through. It's mostly reseals.
Resale. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's mostly on DVD, like Blu-ray games, like PS3, PS4, because they don't have security features, right? It's literally just overwrap, and it's, as you guys know, you could buy a machine today on Amazon that reseals these fairly quickly, and pretty perfectly too. But to the untrained eye, they look really good, but there are certain characteristics of a seal, that you could check to see if it's actually authentic. But yeah, I would say most games that we reject are actually reseals and not counterfeit.
So this machine on Amazon, does it do the YFold seal, or is it just like a
Yeah.
really?
I've gotten fakes that have got the YFolds before, but the one that got sent to me, I could feel that the plastic was different. And
Yeah, you can feel it.
PayPal and obviously spoke to someone who understood I was a collector and ended up getting a refund on like a $300 game.
Yeah.
I imagine, you got a line of people. One guy, he feels it, and the next guy, he smells it, and the third guy licks the damn thing.
licks the plastic. Yeah, there you go.
But that's the thing, like to be in doing this, you have to have people who do the hobby as well. If you go to a job and you're not into that thing, you're not going to be into it. But if you do the hobby, you collect it, and you're doing it, you know what to look for and different things.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, you do see counterfeits. Like we've gotten quite a few. There's like Spider-Man on PS4, like actual counterfeits out there. Like the case is fake, the insert's fake, the plastic is obviously not correct because the whole thing is just fake. So those are out there. There's a few other games.
Disc inside?
What's that?
Has it got a real disc inside?
I don't know, because I haven't opened one myself. All I know is that the case for sure is fake. It's super dark blue, and then the insert is like super pixelated. It's like very obviously fake.
Weird to think of like the origins of that. Like maybe someone had disc only copies and decided to make them all and try and sell them all as brand new, or stole them all from GameStop, because that's how people get disc only copies and different things like that.
Do you guys go as far as X-raying the shit?
We have, I can't say specifically, but we do have some imaging that we do to see what's inside.
Trade secret. I get it.
Yeah. Which it's besides that, I think there's other tools that we have too that really help us in determining what's inside. So one funny one that I'll tell you about is we recently got a Switch game, sealed Switch game, and inside where the cartridge is supposed to go in the little holder was just a piece of cardboard, like rolled up. Like there was, but it was like sealed, like really good. But I mean, we could tell something was wrong with the seal. Like something was like just didn't feel right, didn't look right. So we looked closer, and where the cartridge should be, there was like just like a piece of rolled up cardboard, like in the slot, like to maybe have it weigh the same as like a cartridge.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of games that came with download codes only, and where the disc is, they've got like a cardboard cutout of the disc, and the code's on the little cardboard cutout.
Yeah, when you go and buy a PS5, from some scalper, and you get home and it's just bricks in the fucking box. you gotta weigh it out. You gotta make it weigh.
Yeah. As long as it weighs the same as the PS5 originally weighed.
All right, if you guys, gentlemen, will excuse me, I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I just had a good PS3 question. Oh no, I do have a question. So there's obviously like a lot of reprinted PS2, PS3, PS4 right now. I'm only seeing North American games. Are you seeing any? I don't know if you guys do much PAL stuff, but are you seeing any PAL reprinted PS2, PS3, PS4 stuff?
Yeah, there certainly are reprints of the European stuff as well. They're typically better about updating the artwork, as far as
Yep.
I've seen. So typically, like for example, if you have like a German game, just for example, there'll be like a rating change that happened, not in the number, but in the actual style of the rating.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it'll be
changed over time.
smaller or something.
Yeah, but other than that, like there's, for example, this is a Nintendo example, but for Nintendo, they're really good about updating the part codes on European games specifically. Yeah, I mean, I think for Sony, they're just a little bit better in Europe about updating stuff like that. Whereas in North America, you often just get like a packaging variation, whether it be like the seal type or the case. Typically, we see it in the case, right, with like security, or going from the Mata font, the original PlayStation 3 case, to then just the Blu-ray case, and then security case, and then stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's I would say they're better in for Europe in that aspect.
And we've noticed like some of the higher end games like Painkiller and Siberia will get reprinted, but then the PAL version hasn't been, so suddenly the PAL version is going up, and we joke on the show that, well, we're just waiting for someone in Europe to start reprinting these games and capitalizing on that money.
Yeah, no, you're lucky so far. Luckily, we caught that reprint pretty early, the Siberia and Painkiller.
Yeah, we made a video about it like a week after it came out, so I'm glad that you guys were all on top of it as well.
Yeah, I think there might have been one Painkiller that went out that did not have the updated variant, but we found out about it pretty quick because, like I said, we have the luxury of going to research first. So in that stage, they're looking through a bunch of all the copies that are available to see if there is a variant. And my guys are trained to look at what I used to look at, or still look at, is those minor variations in the packaging, and they can spot that really quick, right? You would think, okay, I have this game here. It's going to take me a couple hours of sifting through listings or whatever, or other resources. Like, these guys are super quick. They can spot the variations super fast and call out whatever the new variant is. So we add it to our database at that point, and then the customer's game goes out with the new variation that we found.
We're talking to someone who did collect a full set, and then I got into variant collecting for about, I'd say 18 months after I had a full set. I was still then focused on the full set. Like that's what I used to do. I would go to the game shop and I'd look at games I already owned because I was looking for variants and differences and changes. And then, like you said, you suddenly get really good at noticing. I would go to my local store and I would buy $3 PS3 games that I didn't own. And I'm like, I swear this is different. Like DJ Hero, but this is missing the barcode, or this has got a foil cover and this one doesn't. And like, oh, the Guitar Hero is bigger on this one, it's smaller on this one, and you just start to notice those things. And it's even you notice it for other systems. Like, I'll look at 360 games, and if the artwork looks different than the PS3 artwork, I'll look into it because I'm like, all right, is this a variant, or did it just have different artwork?
I am actually pretty envious of the European variants, because I mean, even in Australia, you guys get like real variants where like it's like a slip cover with like a whole different cover on it, or it's like the special thing. In North America, for modern stuff, we get like these slight variations, and it'll be like a sticker variant, right? Some people don't consider stickers a variant, but here it's very prominent.
And the next question is, there's two categories of sticker variants. You got sticker variants under the seal and sticker variants on top of the seal.
Yeah.
And then what about the ones where the shop puts the sticker on? Does that count?
It depends who you ask. I mean, I have like a roll of those stickers that some of these retailers put on the products. So here, like in North America, there's like a greatest hits sticker.
I wrote this down from one of my questions. Yeah.
There's a sticker that they put over the seal, right? And I have some. So you know, someone, if they had access to them, they're not really readily accessible, but you know, someone could make their own variant if they wanted to, if they had access to these stickers, and just put them on some random PS2 game and say, oh, this is the Devil May Cry greatest hits variant, sticker variant, you know. So, you know, I don't collect, or I don't consider myself variants where it's like a sticker on the seal and it's just like a compatibility thing, or you know, a greatest hits sticker or anything like that. Like for my personal collection, I don't collect those. But if it's a sticker that says like promotional free item inside, or you know, something that actually has to do with the game specifically, then I will, like, I would collect that. I think that's an actual variant for myself.
Definitely on the inside, I was like that, but certain things have changed my opinion, and I've had to like hold it back, because I go down this rabbit hole and discover like 5 more, and I have to buy for the collection.
Yeah.
For Australia in particular, we've gotten some PS4 games lately that we're receiving the game, and it's the European copy, and then they've got the Australian sticker on top.
Yeah.
But then it's sealed, and the Australian sticker is actually underneath the seal. So they're putting these stickers on before they're sealing them, which is crazy to me, because I didn't include these games in part of my PS3 set. But if I go back and I was collecting in 2008, full set collecting, and bought these games sealed, they most likely were underneath the seal, and they would be then part of the set.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's the whole thing. You can get really deep on some of this stuff. There's really no end to it.
I store them on a different shelf. I've got rules.
Hey, Dan,
my shelf would go arranged by different regions.
What percentage of your games in your personal collection are graded, or do you none? Is it all?
It's mostly my childhood stuff. I have some of my early childhood games encapsulated. I have some Halo stuff that I really like encapsulated. I have, but what percentage? It's compared to like the total number of games I have, it's very little. Yeah, I mean, it's right. Like the only time I'll really grade anything is if it's something I either have had as a child or in my childhood, you know, either like my original copy, or a game that I no longer have, but I would like to have again in like sealed condition. Or it's a game that I've played, like a modern game that I've played recently that, you know, I would want to get graded because I loved playing it. So stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's I'm pretty picky about what I grade personally, but
yeah. You get an employee discount, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you gotta. We were talking briefly before we went on. What different states of completion do you guys accept in? Because I guess at one point it was all strictly sealed, and then you guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, do you take disc only games? It's got to be a super special disc only, and
that's a good question, Dan, because that's how we first met. I mentioned a game that I thought was incomplete, and we had a complete discussion about it. And
okay, yeah. So from the get-go, we did complete in box, and we were the only company that did complete in box at that point when we started. We still do. So we do sealed, complete in box, and cartridge only for NES and Super Nintendo. And then we do disc only in certain situations. Technically, you could sub just about anything disc only, but not a lot of people do, so we just never see them. But yeah, like the NBA Elite, for example, is like a good example of stuff that you would see disc only. But then, like I said, in that case, like we'd have to, because it's disc only, you can't just submit it in any case. Like, it has to be a specific case. We gotta make sure that it's not going to spin around or fall out of the spindle and stuff like that. But yeah, so we do sealed, complete in box, and loose.
So everything. What about just like PS2 no manual? You take those in?
No. So in order to be considered complete, you need three things. Well, it depends on the era. So for like a PS2 game, you're going to be looking at the case with the insert, of course, and the disc and the manual. They have to have those three things at bare minimum to be considered complete. For a game like could you grade a homemade Dable Hazard? No, can't.
It's a custom job I made for him a while back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. SingStar David Hasselhoff made in Germany.
We'll pull it up, Joe.
I gotta see that.
Joe's probably scrambling for it.
He's grabbing it. He's grabbing it.
But for a PS4 game, as we know, like they just don't come with instruction booklet. So in that case, it would be acceptable to just send in the case and the booklet, or the
one of a kind.
That's awesome.
Weep. Only one in existence.
You got to change that case, Joe.
I need to find a better case. Well, I didn't know. If I'm going to get it graded, I would.
Is it better than this one though?
Oh my! Yeah, I've seen that one. I think I saw it on your Instagram.
It looks like it's photoshopped. It looks like it shouldn't be a thing, but it is.
Dan, for
There's a few oddities like that. That's super cool.
I remember in collecting PS2, when I was collecting PS2, nobody cared about registration cards, and now it's a big deal. Oh, does it have the red card? Does it have it? Does it not have it?
Yeah.
Is a game considered CIB if it doesn't have the registration card in it for a PS2, let's say?
So it's got to have the right one, but if it doesn't have one, we still grade it as complete in box. So you can't put like a registration card from, Need for Speed in Kessen or something, they can't, you can't do that. But like, if it just didn't have one, it would still technically be complete because it has the 3 core components. The other components, like a registration card or a poster, those would be considered GSIs, which are game specific inserts. And those, depending on how you submit it, would be noted on the label as like registration card, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Hey guys, we are almost 50 minutes in. I'm really enjoying the conversation, but we've got a few different segments on this show, so let's play Figsy's quiz.
Oh my god,
the infamous Figsy quiz.
Oh man, I'm on a streak.
I think the score is
right now?
on 10 and Will's on 9, so pressure's on, Dan.
Wait, so this will tie it up if he wins?
Yes.
Yeah, this will tie it up.
God.
So I've been looking at your collection and your title, and I'm a little worried, to be honest.
Will, don't make me look bad, man. Don't make me look bad.
It's general video game knowledge. I don't know how hardcore, but like if you're a fan of the certain games, it helps you. So who knows?
Right,
I don't know if it advantage or disadvantages anyone. AJ's the king at the quiz. Dan, you've seen the show before. Would you like to go first or second tonight?
Oof. I'll go first.
Okay. So once again, Pavel has provided all the questions for our quiz. The way this is going to work is Dan's going to go first. Each question is going to be worth 1 point. Dan, if you get your question wrong, Will have the chance to steal for 1 point. And then Will's going to answer question 2. And then again, if Will gets his question wrong, Dan, you'll have a chance to steal. We had our first ever tiebreaker last week and a tiebreaker question. So we do have a new tiebreaker question in the rare chance that we have another tie. So let's get into it with question number 1. All right, Dan, I'm going to show you 4 Zelda games. Which of these The Legend of Zelda games was developed by Capcom?
Capcom.
We've got Phantom Hourglass, Minish Cap, Spirit Tracks, and A Link Between Worlds.
Developed by Capcom. God, it's a good one. It's funny when you think of Zelda, you don't really think of Capcom. So this is a tricky one. I'm gonna go with Spirit Tracks. Complete guess.
Not Spirit Tracks. I'm going to hand this one over to Will. Will's
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
game at the moment, Zelda.
Oh God, Zelda. This is the first one that popped in my head. A Link Between Worlds. Because I have no clue either.
Incorrect. So the correct answer was Minish Cap.
Huh. Is that is that in North America or is that in Europe?
I'm not familiar with the game, so that was a tough question.
Huh.
If anyone in chat knows, let us know. All right, 0-0, guys. Question number 2. This one's for you, Will.
All right, what we got?
In the PS3 and Xbox 360 game Eternal Sonata, the main character is a young composer. Who is he? Is he Mozart, Bach, Chopin, or Beethoven?
It's Bach and no, Mozart.
Incorrect.
Oh God damn it.
Dan?
Well, wait, what was your choice was Mozart?
Yeah, my choice was Mozart.
I'm gonna go with Bach.
Incorrect. So the answer we were looking for was Frederick Chopin.
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 Haven't played that one.
It's sitting on my shelf. I haven't played it either.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. I didn't hear good things about it, so there's plenty of good JRPGs out there. So at the end of round 1, the score is still 0-0. So it's anyone's game, guys. Question number 3. Dan, this one's for you. What game is this meme about?
Oh, that's from Metal Slug.
God damn it.
That is from Metal Slug.
I love Metal Slug. It's one of my favorite games.
Come on, I'm wearing a Neo Geo shirt. Come on.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
All right, question number 4. This one's for you, Will.
All right, man.
Jack Bros for the Virtual Boy is a spin-off of this famous game series by Atlas.
Shin Megami Tensei?
That's correct.
Oh my God. Huh?
Nails it. All right, guys.
Jack
round
Bros
2,
is a
the
spin-off
score is
of
one piece.
Shin Megami Tensei. I think I learned that on this show. Sean taught me that.
All right, question number 5. Dan, this one's for you. I'm going to show you a soundtrack. You have to tell me what game from the Xbox 360 PS3 limited edition this was from.
Bioshock.
Oh, I know.
That is from Bioshock.
What? No. Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. All right. Well, to level the score, this one's for you.
Mhm.
I'm going to show you a PS4 limited edition. You have to tell me what game this is from.
The hell?
Zelda.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like a Zelda. God damn, I have no clue. Hold on, give me a minute. It's a Japanese console, so we never got to hear. I'm gonna say God of War.
It's not God of War, Dan.
Oh, I recognize that little figure thing on the controller, and I can't put my name.
Oh, I didn't see that.
My finger on the name. Oh man, what is that? I'm gonna guess and say this is gonna be wrong, but Ni no Kuni.
No,
I get
you're both
PS3?
gonna kick yourself.
Hold on, is it Dragon Quest?
It is Dragon Quest.
Oh
Damn it.
yes, damn it!
I didn't see that little fucking puddle of ooze thing.
There's a
limited edition controller from Japan as well, and it's the big puddle, and they made a controller out of that. So at the end of round 3, Joe, what's the score?
2-1.
Dan's taking the lead at 2. Will is behind at 1. Will, you're gonna have to pull it through in round 4 here again, like last week.
Unfair giving him an Xbox.
Question number 7. All right, so this final round, guys, I'm going to show you emojis, and from the emojis, you have to tell me what video game you've got. So, Dan, this one's for you.
Oh God. Okay. Oh. God, I don't know. I feel like it's obvious, but I'm not seeing it. Is there a timer?
Reasonable time.
I don't know. I'm gonna guess and say Silent Hill.
Not Silent Hill. We actually had Silent Hill last week. Will, for the steal?
Is that Kuon? I don't know.
Not Kuon. So that was Alan Wake.
Oh.
Game that's in the news at the moment. We'll talk about that one later.
Yeah.
All right, well, to tie the game, and this is your only way that you can still win this, is by tying it.
Dad, don't put any pressure on me. What do we got?
No pressure or anything. Here's your emojis.
Yeah, the motorcycle's throwing me off. I was gonna say Resident Evil, but motorcycle, zombie, and chemical. I don't know, man. Resident Evil. That's all I got.
Not Resident Evil, Dan.
I'm going to say, oh, wait, what is, God, what's the name of that game? The one where, no, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know. Devil May Cry because of the bikes.
Not Devil May Cry. I did get this one, and I think the motorbike is what gives
Days Gone. Oh, okay.
Days Gone. Well, for his first time coming on the show, Dan has taken the win, and Will's streak ends tonight.
Yeah.
Will goes to 11-9. Thanks for playing, guys.
Glad I could get one in for the guests.
Congratulations, Dan. I guess.
Who's going to be teeing up the guests and be like, how's your trivia on video games? No, I don't want him on. He's too good.
Oh, man. No. You've been at it since age 12, so yeah, you should have won. It makes sense.
Those were kind of tough at the end there.
When you
good questions, I'm enjoying the emojis as of late.
If I would have gone first, I would have won. Yeah. See, Dan, you said you started collecting at age 12.
Yeah.
Did you make a conscious effort to collect and like save the boxes and save the bits and parts, or were you like one of those kids just put the loose? Oh man, I hate people who put discs in binders and they just throw the rest away.
I had one of those binders.
I have one of those binders myself too, but they aren't my own. I found someone's full like PC collection at a flea market a long time ago, and it's got like a bunch of just 90s PC games in this fat binder. And that's the only binder I have full of discs. But no, when I was a kid, I kept very little from when I was actually like young, because I started playing on the Super Nintendo. That was my first console. I had like a little bit of experience with NES because my brother had one, but I didn't play it a ton. It was mainly a Super Nintendo guy, hence my Instagram handle and everything. So that was my first love of games was through the Super Nintendo. I don't have any of my games from that day, from those times. It wasn't until the original Xbox came around that I kept my stuff. So I still have all of my original Xbox games from the early 2000s. And yes, I did keep my boxes and everything's pretty nice condition still, thankfully. But yeah, when I was around 12 is like I was going to flea markets and stuff like that with my uncle because he loved hunting and yeah, that stuff I would just take whatever I can get loose, complete in box. I would never find sealed stuff really, so don't have any of that from back then. But yeah, from my early childhood, have nothing. From the early 2000s, I still have all my original games, PS2 games, Xbox, all that stuff, and then all that other stuff that I found at the flea market has kind of come and gone. I've traded it or sold it. So,
you like piecing games together, or you just ignore the loose stuff now anymore?
Yeah, I don't buy a ton of loose games these days unless it's something super rare. Yeah,
I love piecing games together with backwards when you like find the artwork of like a Game Boy game, or find like the artwork of a DS game, because finding the carts like the easy part.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier that way.
Yeah.
If it's the other way, I won't pick it up because like picking up a disc only game, I won't pick up the disc. But if you find the artwork in the manual, well, chances of getting a disc is pretty easy. It's more common to get just the disc.
Yeah.
I remember I posted a lot of PS2 games for sale, and somebody's like, hey, some guy picked and chose, and he wanted like 6 games. And I started quoting him, started talking about shipping charges, and the guy's like, "Oh no, I just want the discs. You keep the cases and the manuals. I just want the discs." I was like, "Whoa!" It hurt. It hurt to do that. It hurt me in my heart and my soul. But I sent him the discs, and then I just sold. I double dipped. Because the prices I had posted were for CIB games, and he bought loose disc at CIB price. That's and then I just resold the manuals. And in fact, just recently I resold it's one of the Armored Core games, just the case and manual.
Oh, that would have skyrocketed in price too.
Yeah, it was. I got a good $30 for it. I believe. I can't remember which game it was, but yeah. Do you resell, Dan, or do you?
I mean, stuff that I just don't have room for, or it's like in storage, I'll get rid of it. I'll either sell it or trade it. But I don't really actively like sell very many things. If I'm selling something, it's usually to fund another item or just make room for something else. So
yeah, as we do.
Yeah.
I used to resell a lot when I was doing the the big climb, just getting everything. I would resell a lot to fund the collection, and also because when you're buying giant lots just to get 3 games, you're going to end up with a pile of other crap that you already have.
Yeah,
and then you just pick and choose, put the best looking one together, upgrade. Yeah, we all know how it goes.
Yeah,
reselling can be fun. It gets addictive.
Yeah, I know you sell quite a bit.
I made a full-time job out of it. I've almost been 12 months doing it now. We're in month number 11 when we go into June. So yeah.
So are you still actively finding like a good amount of stuff to be able to flip, or are you just selling from your own collection? Or
yeah, I mainly do that. Like I'm selling from my collection only because I want to downsize my collection, not because I need money or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I pulled out 5 collector's editions today that I'm gonna clean up and list eventually. But I've got heaps of stock upstairs, and we go garage selling once a week and go thrifting once a week or a couple of times a week and do different things like that. But you definitely find less video games to make money on these days. I make a lot of money on DVDs and books and CDs and stuff that like
people aren't going for like when you said you started collecting Xbox games because people weren't going for them or looking for them. You know, you make money in categories that people aren't focused on. And
Sure.
that's where I'm at right now.
Nice.
Hey Dan, you before we started the podcast, we were chatting about steelbooks. And I brought up on the podcast a few weeks ago that like there's a ton of fake steelbooks out there. There's full websites that sell fake steelbooks, and like some of them look absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
My question is, are you guys getting them in for submission?
Yes. Unfortunately. And you know, luckily we have a really good way to vet them. So we're extra careful on those just because, like you said, they can look really, really convincing on some of these. It's not like the regular paper case inserts where it's like pixelated, you know, it's actually a little bit better than that. It's because it's printed on a different medium. It kind of just behaves differently when it's printed, and it actually makes it look a little bit better than it should. So yeah, we do get them. We reject them quite often. So yeah, they are coming through, and it's pretty scary.
It really is. And like I'd be surprised if after a few years there aren't a few that do get graded. Like I've got a friend out there who I would call one of the biggest steelbook collectors in the world, and I mentioned this to him, and he told me about these ones that he bought.
Yeah,
he just got fooled by them. You know,
Yeah.
I remember watching these on eBay for months and months, and then you realize that it's fake. And
yeah.
and these are people who, you know, collect them, and you know, like you guys do it for a job. And imagine the average Joe who starts collecting in 2023 and wants to buy steelbooks.
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to know? And they're not.
Yeah, it's really tough on that stuff, especially when there's not a good resource for finding exactly where a certain steelbook came from, right? Sometimes it's like these one-off like promo pre-order items that you get when you pre-order a game, or when you pick up your game, you get this free steel case. But sometimes the information is just not there. Like there was a big purge of info on through some of these sites, and like even if you try using the Wayback Machine, so on some of these flash sites, for example, you can't even find that information anymore. It's like broken links or broken images. So for some of the stuff, the info is not there, so it makes it extra hard to really vet this sort of stuff when you can't even find the information on where it came from originally. But yeah, it's tricky. Those things, like I said, we look at them extra carefully because we know that more are being made probably every day, new ones. So
especially the expensive ones. Like all my steelbooks that are $500 plus, you can buy fake ones today.
Yeah,
which has affected the price because people that want them are buying fake ones because I mightn't love it, but it's happy enough to have it on the shelf and display it, where like, I wouldn't do that. But if 10-20% of the population do that, then that's going to affect the price of the real one.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, one thing I wanted to bring up is
like finding older information can be hard, but now that you guys are aware of different releases, do you guys track new releases, like new Switch releases and different variants that are getting releases from different retailers and PS5 games, etc.?
Yeah, a lot of the times it's as they come in. So for example, like, we like when a game releases, we typically get it like right away. So like the new Zelda game that just came out, literally like 3 days after it launched, we had it in our hands for grading.
You probably had 100 of them already.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
probably more actually.
So yeah, I mean, as soon as a game launches, especially like if it's anything first party, like any of the God of War games or Uncharted, just anything new, anything AAA is like on our doorstep like a few days after it launches for grading. And I think the idea is, people think is that like, they want a fresh copy as soon as it launches, because what does happen is what can happen is they'll make a reprint maybe shortly after the initial launch, and we saw that with Breath of the Wild on Switch, where now the first prints of Breath of the Wild are actually pretty damn hard to find sealed. They're just not out there, and if they are out there, they're in pretty bad condition. They're hard to find in good grade, with a nice seal, nice box, and everything. So,
and you can imagine most people who bought them to play because they were the pre-ordered copies.
Exactly. So, you always hear about like, oh, well, if you buy modern, people are buying 2 copies, keeping one sealed, so the modern stuff's going to be more readily available down the line. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how many people are actually doing that. I think people are doing that, but I don't know how many people are actually doing that. So, I don't know.
I do it to an extent where I bought 2, opened one, played it, and then sold that copy and kept the sealed one.
Mark in the chat asks a good question. What game has the record for being graded the most often?
Grand Theft Auto Trilogy.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that's definitely up there.
Isn't it a meme in the PS2 collecting on how many copies of that have been graded?
It's a lot. I mean, it's up there.
You ever get a game?
It kind of falls off pretty drastically from there, though. Like for vintage stuff, you just really don't see a ton of sealed products for vintage, like NES, Super Nintendo. Like you're just not going to see those numbers. For modern stuff, yeah, I mean, it's definitely like the San Andreas. PS3. Let me think of a PS3 game that is submitted often.
Like The Last of Us or something?
What's that?
The Last of Us or something?
The Last of Us, yes. It's not super high. We posted, actually, I published the pop report on that one a while back on our Instagram. I did like a variant guide, and it showed the population numbers. It's like high, but it's not like GTA high or anywhere near that. But yeah, that's probably like one of the higher PS3 ones, and it's not that high. So
I remember like 3 years ago, you could get a copy for like $20, and I was noticing the price of it slowly going up, and it was such an easy game to get sealed.
Yeah, well, there's a reprint on that one, so the reprint is really easy to find. The original print is not so easy to find, and especially in good condition. The seals are always torn up.
And then I'm assuming the console pack variant is really common to find sealed because it came inside a console. Yeah,
that's true. And it's easier to find in good shape because they were typically just shoved, they stayed in the consoles sometimes, and they were protected. Same goes for anything that's like a pack-in, like, any game that comes in a pack-in that's not for resale, especially in like a smaller box. People just keep it in there. It doesn't make its way out. So
you ever get
any of these games would be, higher grades because they're sealed inside, but this has never been opened. So.
Are all those sealed inside individually?
Yeah. Of course, like 3 of them are greatest hits.
You ever get a game, I'd imagine you get a game for grading, you're like, oh, dude, really? Why? What game makes you say, dude, why the most? I'm going to imagine FIFA or Madden.
No, for me, because you just never know what someone's attachment is to a certain game, right? Like for me, I was like the most random game. It's like, for example, my first Super Nintendo game, I don't know if it was my first one, but one of the games that I loved when I was a kid was Pinocchio on Super Nintendo. And someone would be like, okay, well, why the hell would you grade that? I don't know if someone's not a huge fan of Pinocchio, but for me, it's a great game that I loved. Here's another example: Prisoner of War on Xbox. Super bad game, like terrible game, but I played it as a kid and I actually enjoyed it. And that's something that I would get graded sealed just because I want it as like a trophy of, just a nostalgia thing, right? So it's hard to say on that front. However, we do see a lot of like really poor grade things come through. Some people actually do it like on purpose. They try to get the lowest grade possible.
I can see people in chat asking like, "What's the lowest grade possible? What's the lowest grade possible?"
Yeah, Denver
we
was
get
asking.
we get stuff that is like totally trashed, and you could tell that like they did damage themselves, and like they like drilled a hole through the cartridge, and there's like duct tape all over it and writing all over it, and the label's torn, and you know, and they're shooting for that 0.5 grade or the Wada 1. You know, it's so
That's the thumbnail of their next YouTube video.
yeah, right. There was somebody who graded one. I think it was a Super Mario World that was just completely beat up, and I think it got a 2 or a 3. I can't remember. And they ended up selling it for charity or something, and I think they got like $4,000 for it or something crazy.
That's good.
Yeah,
which then, if you go to price charting, would like obscure the prices,
right? Yeah,
I think that's an interesting question Will asked, because if you get a game that no one likes, and then suddenly, like people will then look at like your population reports and be like, well, I want to get a game that no one's got graded or few people have got graded. So like even those games that no one gets graded will then get graded for that reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason we didn't publish our pop report initially, because a lot of the games that were rare were getting submitted first, right? So the population on the super rare games was higher than the more common games because no one was submitting the common games yet. Yeah, so and the same thing goes for PS3. Like we were getting some of the better PS3 games first when we first launched PS3 grading, and then like your common games weren't getting submitted yet. So it takes a little bit of time to have enough data to really make sense of it. But yeah, I mean, you see like a population 1 SingStar or whatever, and you're like, holy crap, it's super rare. There's only one, but that's just because no one really wants to grade it.
And SingStar is a good example because, I'm guilty of this. Like people will call SingStar games like the rarest games ever, but SingStar South Africa, perfect example. Like some people have called that rarest game. If you go on Facebook and check out my Facebook group, someone posted 25 copies a couple of weeks ago because he lived in South Africa and he's been looking for them for like a couple of years. And it goes of any game in those regions. Like if you live in Finland, the Finland exclusive games aren't going to be rare to you.
Yeah. Did you see what's that Indian PS3? Yeah. There was somebody, I don't know if you saw this. I mean, this must have been like a year ago or so, maybe. Some guy posted like a full spread of them. He had like
so if you're talking about the same guy I'm aware of, it was an Australian guy, and he had like 40 or 50 copies.
Yeah,
some of them were fake, unfortunately. We posted in the group like how to spot a fake copy because some of them didn't have the inside artwork. Some of them had fake manuals because CEX in India print covers and manuals, and one of our friends stopped buying them for this reason because he kept getting fake ones.
Interesting.
He just was constantly selling them. So then the guy wasn't aware, apologized, gave refunds, and then started selling like disc-only copies, damaged copies. And
wow.
He brought the price down from like $500 and now it's like $150, $200 game because he sold so many copies over like 2 or 3 years.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know some of those were counterfeit.
Yeah, so there was some sealed ones that were as well, which is a concern. Like I'm only aware of like 5 or 6 real sealed RA1s, and like they've sold for $1,000 plus, you know. So it's you're talking an expensive game when you're talking these games. Yeah, and that's an incentive for people to counterfeit, you know.
Right.
It's not a $60 game. You're talking $1,000 game that, you know, is only in a certain country. Well, how are you going to know that it's a reprint? You've never seen it before.
Sure.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Figsy, let's do some homework. You guys do your homework?
Yeah, I did my homework. What's the homework this week, Phil?
Here on the PlayStation Collectors Podcast, we like to assign our guests homework, and Figsy and I do them as well. This week's homework was limited edition or collector's edition games that you don't see every day. Some you do see every day. I guess we're trying to share some of our rare ones. Now, my collection's just full of everyday collector's editions, but I'd like to see what you guys have. So who wants to go first?
What happens if you don't do your homework? Do you get in trouble?
Your little box, it gets smaller and you get put in the corner. And,
I got 2. I don't know how many you guys have, but I'll pull the first one out.
I have 2 as well.
That's what I brought. So Figs, let's see what you got. You go first. So it looks like you got yours handy.
I think both of mine are Australian exclusive, or at least the second one's PAL exclusive, but the first one's definitely Australian exclusive. This is the Portal 2 Cube Edition.
Nice.
Comes with a Rubik's Cube, which is pretty cool when it sort of like sits on the inside.
That's
and
awesome.
they're all numbered. There's 1,500. I'm not sure if there's 1,500 PS3 and 360 or if that's combined. But it's pretty rare. It goes for like $300, $400, $500. And
jeez,
I've only seen a few for sale in the last few years, so I'm not sure what it would go for these days. But it's not for sale, so
nice.
Now the second one I pulled out because I told you guys previously I pulled 5 collector's editions out to sell. This is one of them. The reason I'm selling it is because it's too fucking big, but it's really cool. So I just wanted to show it off one last time. I've got part of it outside because it's like really big and hard to put back together. So I'm going to show you guys the inside box and then the gun that came with it, which is really cool. So it is Saints Row 4. The name of it's on the inside, so I don't even know the name of it.
That's a sweet cover.
It's called the Wub Wub Edition. Okay, so the reason it's called the Wub Wub Edition is inside it actually comes with a gun that plays dubstep music.
Oh my god. The horror.
So here we have the Saints Row 4 dubstep gun.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Figs, you're not supposed to groove to it.
That's so cool.
Stop.
Is that thing gonna be running in the background?
It comes with like a box that says "Do not open," and you can unlock this thing and press it, and then something else happens too. So it's a pretty cool collector's edition, but it's really big and it's really fragile and hard to get out of the box. So I'm probably gonna sell that one.
Did you say that was region exclusive or?
I definitely know it's PAL exclusive. I thought it was Australian exclusive, but I feel like I've seen it in Europe before, so not 100% sure.
That's pretty wacky.
Oh, am I going next? All right. Now, like I said, I don't have anything exciting but so I just brought some a couple of the collector's editions I have. As some of you may or may not know, I have been chasing a complete Exceed / Marvelous set for the PS4, and I just recently finished it. And so I got a couple Exceed games I want to share here. Actually, this one's Marvelous. This is Kandagawa Jet Girls Racing Hearts edition, and it's weird. This is the only way it came, so I don't know why they made a special edition for it. But yeah, this is the only way you can get it. It's in one of these big boxes. Looks like it has a soundtrack and a little art book in there. But you know me, I'm all about my suggestive anime girls, and this is just my thing. So there's that one.
What's inside? Why is it so big?
You get an art book. It includes PS4 action game, 64-page art book, and 2-disc music CD soundtrack. And, yeah, there it is.
I hate collector's editions that are shaped like that because they don't fit on the shelf, or they take up the whole shelf.
This one, this next one, this is the one. This just came out like a month ago, and this one completes the set. It's the same size, exact same size, which is nice. So they look good on the shelf together. Nice. And this one is Trinity Trigger Day 1 edition. This was an Exceed game. Let's see what comes in here. Yeah, this was the one that the last one I needed. And for now, I have the full Exceed Marvelous set. On June 6th, I will no longer because I got to go out and get another one. Fucking bastards. So, same thing here. You get an art book and a CD soundtrack. So, And there you go. And this is the day one edition. Again, this is the only way it came. I don't know why they go out of their way to make it an edition.
There's no day two edition, huh?
No, there's no day two edition. You can't buy it by itself. It's just, I don't know. It's just what they do. They do that with a lot of games. Those Xseed bastards. I got a lot of big boxes up on the shelf because of them. But
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these RPG games come with soundtracks. Pretty cool.
I'm a whore for soundtracks. You know, I never listen to them. But I just like to have them. You know, it's just one of those things.
They look good on the shelf.
And it's just you gotta have them. But yeah, those are the two I brought on the show. All right, Dan, you're up to bat.
All right, don't hate me, but I don't have any PlayStation examples. They're both Xbox.
We love all consoles here on the PlayStation Collectors Podcast.
Will's got that written on his laptop.
Yeah,
it's across the top.
So this one's pretty cool. This is just because it's like a personal favorite game, and you actually don't see them too often sealed. This one comes with a little pickaxe.
I got a story about that one.
Yeah, I do too.
So the PS3 copy, I think it was the Amazon shipment, like the box got squished, so every single copy that's sealed is all squished.
They're all squished. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, and it's because they're all in the same shipment together. That's why they're all squished.
Is yours numbered on the bottom?
Yeah, it's number 14393.
14393. Mine's 13330.
Yours looks bigger than mine because it's not squished. Like to add to that, so this happened like 2018, and the price went to like $15 American, obviously because they were classed as like damage. So the link went out in the group, and everyone got one, and every single person's copy was all like squished like that. I've never seen a PS3 one that isn't sealed and like perfect.
Yeah. The ones here in North America, they're not sealed like that because yours is shrink sealed all the way around.
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks like the genuine one. It doesn't look like a reseal or anything.
Yeah, I think ours are still sticker sealed here. The PS3 copy.
This is Canadian as well. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Now I know the PS3 version is download code only. Is yours? Is there a disc in yours or no? Dan,
in mine?
Yeah. Is the Xbox version download code only?
No, it has a disc.
Oh, really?
That's cool. Yeah. There's a case. There's like a full case in here.
Friend,
the case, but it's just an empty case.
Is it a case?
Yeah, because that's the start of when they're like, "Fuck you to collectors. Let's just give you codes in boxes."
I could have swore that I bought one that came out of this. It was sealed, and I could have swore there was a disc in there, but maybe not.
Ricky Andre, he bought that game from me because he was at one point he was going for all the collector's editions. And I had a loose disc. Just came in a lot, so I put it in a little sleeve and I stuck it in there. And I accidentally sent it to him, and he got my physical copy. And it took him about 6 months to send it back. Freaking bastard.
Oh, yeah, see, this one says on the front it says full game disc.
Yeah, cool.
I can't speak French. This one's in French if anyone can translate.
Oh god.
I can't. It's too small on the screen. I can't see it.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyone in chat can translate that for us.
I've got one more thing. Still an Xbox thing, so don't shoot me. So this it's not a game, but maybe you've seen this before. This is the proof for the collector's edition Halo 2. This is like basically the printing proof for what would be the collector's edition steelbook. I'm not sure if you have seen this or.
I've had a perfect copy of that steelbook before, and I ended up giving it to a full set Xbox collector.
Oh, really? The Australian copies are actually pretty cool because they have like a Samsung sticker on the front. I don't know if you've seen them, but pretty exclusive to that, I think. But
you always see them, and they're always rusted. Unfortunately.
Yeah, they're always rusted, banged up. And then this is the cover that never was. This was an alternative steelbook.
Oh, that's cool. That would have been a cool steelbook.
Yeah, I much prefer this one. And this artwork is also differs from the standard edition. It looks similar, but it's different. This unfortunately didn't make it to production.
Where'd you find these?
These came from a Halo collector. I got it quite a long time. Well, let's see. I got it in I think I got these in 2017. And they came from a collector who just collected like obscure items. So his collection was just obscure stuff, and for some reason, he had these. I don't know where he got them.
Open up
a stream of PS collectors. That's when I see his Xbox stuff.
Hey, I gave a disclaimer. I gave the disclaimer.
I think everyone who's a PlayStation fan has some respect for Halo. Like when I first started collecting, I was picking up copies of Halo because it was a cool video game to pick up.
This should be a perfect segue into pickups. You guys get anything new in recently? Anything cool you want to show off that's newly entered into your collection?
Oh yeah, I got one for you.
Let's see it.
This is super rare. You've never seen it before.
Oh god, get that shit.
We've seen that on the show plenty of times.
Get that shit out of here.
I'm waiting to get my copy. It's still with another collector.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Oh my god. How much you pay for that thing, Dan?
Too much.
Yeah, oh my god.
It's just hilarious. I had to. I mean, it's like it's just a meme at this point. So
it is a meme.
It's like Poop Slinger or anything like that. It's kind of just, if you're a collector, you kind of have to get that.
Yeah.
No, you don't. In fact, I discourage it.
These aren't necessarily new, but I'm sure you guys will appreciate these. This is the FIFA 18 Kith edition.
Season 2 edition, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
The what edition?
Kith.
What's Kith?
I'm aware of that. It's fucking rare.
Yeah.
What is Kith?
It's basically these were handed out at a pop-up event.
Oh, I see.
Or a tournament or something like that.
Who's the poor bastard on the cover who's got his face covered? That guy's got to be pissed.
With them. Are they American players by chance? Like
I don't know. I honestly don't know who they are. I'm not a huge soccer guy myself, so I couldn't tell you. I don't think they're pro. Maybe they're like college. I have no idea. That wouldn't make sense because it's FIFA. But here's another one that I love.
Oh damn! Isn't that another one that was given away at an event?
Yeah, this is Complex Con exclusive. That's the only place you can get them.
We were talking about this like 5 episodes ago, and I couldn't remember the damn name of the game. But 2K19 NBA.
Right. Yep, that's it.
There's the second one as well. Is it 2018?
2018 had one with Kevin Durant. It was a Nike
on Xbox as well as
yeah.
And what was the number? Was it 100 or 400 copies?
I don't know on that one.
Something ridiculously low, like
yeah, it's super low, super hard to find. It took me forever to find these. This one thankfully is still sealed in really good condition. I'll probably grade it eventually. It's weird because all of like the rarest games on PS4 or variants on PS4 are like sports games.
I was talking to James Johnson, who's going for a full PS5 set this week.
Yeah.
And we were talking about some FIFA variants on PS5. You might even know this. So you know that there's one of one FIFA variants on PS5. So like for promotion for teams in England, like Chelsea, for example.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Went to them and they gave every player
their own copy of the game, but the case was their face and their stats on it.
Yep. There's one where it's a Madden, and it's a football player's mom on the cover. And it's like, dude, like you'll never get that. You'll have to like get his mom to sell that somehow, and it's not happening. So,
like in the YouTube video, one of the players ripped it up because he didn't like his numbers. That's one of one. It's gone now.
Yeah. This is a cool one. I'll show you this one real quick. Here's another sports one. This is a display case. And this player, Bryce Harper, he at the time that this was made, they didn't know what team he was going to be on, so they didn't have him in a jersey. They didn't have him in his uniform. They had him in this generic like hoodie. And then when the game came out, then they had him in his actual game uniform. But at the time that they were making the marketing for this, they didn't know what team he was going to be on at that time. So he's kind of in a generic uniform. And I've never seen that before in any other cover. So I thought that was really cool.
I'm sure if you look back over time that there would have been one instance where they had a player on the cover and like it was going to come out and then something happened, controversy, and the player's like, you got to cancel him. And
I believe it was a PS2 or 3 game like that. It's a football game. I can't remember.
Knowing sports stars, I'm sure that's happened.
Here's another cover that shouldn't exist. This one is from the same guy that I got the Conan O'Brien case from. And this cover like never came out. It's like full like quality like paper. It's like legit like cover. I don't know what like how he got it. I mean, he was the guy who made the cover for the game, so maybe he just printed himself off one for himself or something. But yeah, that
makes sense. Like when Will makes artwork, he'll make 5 or 6 of them. No, you make a thumbnail, you'll make 5 or 6 different thumbnails, and then you'll pick your favorite one.
I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about the custom games I make in my spare time. No, they're all usually one of one.
I mean, it makes sense going like into an artist's mind and being like, they wouldn't just make one; they probably make a different few prototypes and then.
So Will, you make the Simpsons faces?
Yes, it's not as hard as you'd think. I'd tell you exactly how, but then people would realize it's not as hard as they think.
I was gonna say, man, those turn out really, really nice.
I had to mess with yours for a minute because it gave you a full beard, and when that happens, I gotta go in there.
Nice.
Yeah, no, Joe, your Hasselhoff is one of a kind. Don't worry about it. We burn the mold, so unless the printer, my print, I got a guy who prints them off for me. I made sure he deleted the file, so it's one of one.
So what you guys get?
I had an interesting pickup this week. It's not a video game, but it was video game related. Well, and you guys might remember we had Too Old for Gaming, a guest on the show. He's an author, and his book, The Life of the PS3, I might mispronounce the name, but his hardcover book's going to be coming out soon. And with his book, he did a quiz, and it's the top 100 PS3 games. And he's releasing that as part of a magazine series. So he sent me a test run of the PS3's Zine. This is issue number 0, and this is the top 100 PS3 games. It's really awesome. It's in color. Each game has like a different quote from someone who voted on it, which is really cool. Went through and read it all and had a blast. So, yeah, they will be available for sale soon.
Are those stickers on the console there?
Yeah, there's little like 8 JPEG like pixel junk type stickers.
Oh, that's really cool.
I can be able to see them in the camera.
Nice.
If I recall, that guest promised us each a copy, so I'm still waiting. Make sure an email. I'm gonna let him know. Will's waiting.
That was the test run, Will, so the copy should still be on the way. Just want to give a quick shout out to Sean Bentley for 52 months in a row subscribed on Twitch. Really appreciate it, Sean. And hope Manchester United beat Man City in the FA Cup final for you.
All right, so I got a couple games I picked up. I'm not sure if I shared them before. I think last time, or when I had them ready to go and share, but we just never showed them. So this is my most recent one. I got RPG Maker MV, and basically you make an RPG and you play it loose or open copy. I'll probably check that out. This is another one. I don't have PlayStation VR, but I needed it for the Xseed set. So the Xseed set. So there's Gungrave VR. Oh, look at that.
I like the holographic print of
That
that.
foil action.
I'm a sucker for hollow foil covers, so that's awesome.
Yeah, but
Especially
again,
if there's a normal one, because to show off the holographic, if you post it next to the normal one, it looks so much better.
keep it on the back.
Oh, it's even on the back. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the spine like that as well?
No, it's just black.
Oh, okay.
I won't be playing it because VR makes me sick. Now these two games I posted for I picked them up for trade. I don't remember if I shared them or not, but I'm going to share them again. Car Mechanic Simulator.
Ooh, I kind of want to play that actually.
Yeah, I changed the oil on the car, and yeah, I know everything that I'm a car expert now. So, and then I picked up Surfing World Series. I played this. It's actually pretty good. I was expecting it to be like a bad Tony Hawk clone, but no, it's good.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how real is that water?
No, not.
In 12 months or 2 years' time, we're going to be like, GTA's got better surfing than that surfing.
Well, no, you know, I will say it's the water. The water does change. I mean, the swells and they come in different levels. It's not bad because no two-way. I put about an hour into it, so I never really.
I
That's
got
a good
bored of it.
question.
I haven't returned to it.
No, but yeah, I put these up for trade. No one's come with any of my wants, so I'm probably just gonna keep them. I'm kind of, they're all oddball. These are weirdo games. These are not good games. They're weirdo games, and yeah, there you go. And those are my recent pickups.
Nice.
Well, while you're up,
Mm-hmm.
would you like to show us some memes? I think it's time for your meme time.
Oh, here we go. Joe, cue the music, please. Oh man, lovely. All right, Joe, what do we got? I think I got about 10. Okay, Zelda fans, when Nintendo makes another game in which Link does that does things in Hyrule for the billionth time. Yes, from what I understand, the new Zelda game is just the same thing as the last game with just a couple extra mechanics. So, but then again, what do I know? I don't play that crap.
Game of the year.
Oh yeah, I've redone my game room. Just wanted to share that with you guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
You might need to save up for some new underwear instead of buying new games.
Oh, we've done that. My underwear, looking at me, the holes in my underwear, watching me buy another sealed game.
He's got 2 PS5s, not just one. There's a Death Stranding exclusive in there.
Sony announces PlayStation handheld scalpers. Oh yeah. We need to talk about the Sony showcase. I don't think this is going to be scalped by any means, but you know how scalpers are. They'll try. What else we got? Me about to pay the rent. Me also looking at eBay with PS3 games. Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid. Yeah, it happens.
We've all been there.
Yeah. 1 week into Garden Simulator, and you got a bunch of dead plants. This one was inspired. I kind of want this game. It's only available PS4 PAL we're not in PS5 here, but kind of want that. And that one's inspired by Nicolo. And who else posted it? Oh, them. Link, the kingdom needs rescuing. And this is Link just building stupid shit.
Hear the Home Depot music playing in the background.
A lot of Link memes this week. What's the deal with the Dukin? I don't know. That's my Jerry Seinfeld. I don't know if this is stupid. This is dumb shit. At PlayStation, innovation is our passion. And then there's the Wii U. PlayStation. Sony. Yeah, a lot of Q Light memes as well. What else we got there? My God, Sony's stealing ideas from Nintendo. And then, oh my God, Nintendo's so original.
Oh man.
Yeah, it is true. There's nothing new. Nothing new under the sun, unfortunately. Not at this point. Oh yeah, here's one for you. Xbox. No matter what you call it, one thing that unites us all is the X button. And so he's like, actually. The actually meme is so it's so versatile.
You mean the cross button?
Yes, sir. My Minecraft girlfriend broke up with me because the servers are down and they kicked me out, and she thought I was just ghosting her.
Daddy in 2020.
This is actually the other night. Our internet went down, and this my girlfriend screenshotted it, and this was at the top of the page. And this is it happens to all of us.
Yeah, she didn't get kicked out, just him. That's
PC gamers, console gamers, and of course mobile gamers. These are their respective thrones. Because the last one should say Switch gamers as well, because it's that's shitty games. People then yes, JRPG. You got to think about it. All right. Anything? I think I got one more, or no? Say motherfucking Zelda again. Yeah, a lot of Zelda this week, and I think that's this week's edition of Music. Thank you, guys.
I'm like almost 40 hours in, Will. It's got my life. It's so good. Can't wait to finish the podcast so I can get back to Zelda.
Oh man, my PS5 is down, and yeah, it's on somewhere between here and Beaumont, Texas. I think is where it was sent to, and I've been playing PS1 games lately. I've been playing Soviet Strike, and what's the other one I got? Oh, I started Final Fantasy 1 on PS1, and I'm liking Final Fantasy 1. I could see the appeal, but I mean I got the PS3, I got the PS2 hooked up, but I just can't be bothered. I'm just been playing PS1 games on my little pirate machine because I'm not going to go out and buy that crap. What are you playing, Pigsy or Dan? What's in your consoles? Pigsy,
I just answered that question with Zelda. Not playing anything else.
What about you, Dan? What are you playing lately?
I'm pretty basic these days. I've been missing out on a lot of campaign-driven games, story-driven games, but I've been playing a lot of Warzone, and actually one game that I picked up recently, or not picked up, it's on Game Pass, but it's called Superliminal, I think it's called. And it's like this puzzle, crazy psychedelic like puzzle game. You should check it out. It's really, really fun. So I've been playing that. I think I'm almost done with it, but not quite. Other than that, I have no shame in saying this. I play a ton of Fortnite. So me and my brother, my cousin just play all the time. I actually, collect Fortnite stuff, if you can see it back there.
Nice.
I have quite a bit of accessories and like event stuff, tournament stuff. Yeah.
Is that jersey from the Fortnite World Cup or something?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I lost an auction for Fortnite physical on PS4. I put in $50. It sold at $52.50. Won. I was like, oh man. It's whoever bought it got to steal, but
Yeah.
I don't. It's not a game I want to play, but it's one of those games you're like, oh, this is rare, and I collect this shit. I should have it in my collection. If I can get it for half the price, might as well.
Yeah.
You gentlemen, excuse me, I'll be right back.
I pretty much bought that when it came out because like it instantly got popular, and collecting hardcore PS4 at the time with
Yeah.
the intentions of I might go for a full set, so I was getting all those like hard to get games. I went and bought Fortnite.
Yeah. There's a what is it, a year? I don't know if it's European or Australian. There's one that comes in like a CD jewel case. I don't know if you've seen it.
Not the Australian one. We only got the single one over here.
Is that okay? Gotcha. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. There's like I don't know. There's all kinds of different versions for Europe, I think. But yeah,
you ever get a graded Australian one? It's going to be very rare because in Australia, games aren't sold sealed; they're sold open.
Yeah,
unless you pre-order a game, you're not going to get it sealed. We do have Amazon now, but all the other retailers, they gut everything before they put them out for sale. That's just what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same with CDs. A lot of CDs, like in Europe and stuff, aren't sealed, or at least they weren't back in the day.
Sucks when you're collecting seal. Like, I've had arguments with people in shops. I'm like, please, just like, I want to buy it like that. And they're like, but I have to open it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to buy it then. Well, I got to put a sticker on it. I'm like, I don't want a sticker on my seal. It's brand new. It's like,
no, we have a similar thing here where like GameStop will open their last copy to put it out for display, but they'll still sell it as new, and they'll just sticker seal it. Like when they sell it to you, they'll put like a clear sticker on the hinge or on the opening part, and sell it as new, even though there's no seal on it anymore because they took it off.
The last copy you can understand with, but then if they have 10 copies of a game, like they'll open them all here, put the 10 copies in a drawer, and put the 9 cases, 8 of them out the back, and put 1 of them on the shelf. Just leave them sealed,
Yeah, that sucks.
Hey, Dan, you mentioned before that you collect more than just video games. Mention some of the other things that you've been collecting.
So I've been buying a lot of sealed like packs for sports cards, a lot of basketball, 90s, like a lot of 90s stuff, some older wax packs, like the older some 80s stuff for like Ninja Turtles and the old Mario cards and stuff like that. And I collect a little bit of the loose cards, but it's mainly like sealed booster packs and stuff like that. And it's just something different to kind of sink my teeth into, to kind of get me going again, get my collecting bug kind of up and going again. Cause like I said, it's been difficult finding stuff that, that I get excited about with games. Especially like all the stuff that we see come through grading. Like we see a lot of grails come through, and you're like, you've basically seen it all, or I think I have. So just trying something different, trying a new hobby. It's mainly just cards. Some like 90s Star Wars stuff I've been kind of digging into a little bit. From like the trilogies and stuff like that. Like marketing, point of purchase displays and stuff like that. So, yeah.
When you say cards, are you mainly doing basketball?
Mainly basketball. I would say like 90% of it is basketball.
Basketball card collecting is so interesting. My brother's been collecting basketball cards for like 5 or 6 years, and we used to live together, so I was hearing stories about like, this card's got 100 of them because it's so-and-so's jersey, and they cut the jersey up into 100 pieces, and that's the card, and everyone's been signed. And but like a certain player might have that type of card, but he might have like 100 different releases of 100 different jerseys out there, and it's not like video game collecting. It's insane.
it's like controlled, like it's kind of controlled, right? Because they're numbered, not all of them, but some of them are numbered, so you know how many exist of that card. It's not like with games, most of the time you don't know. You're just guessing how many were made, how many still exist sealed. With the cards, you know that 100 were made. This is how many are, like, if they get graded anyway, you know how many are on the population report, how many have been found, etc. That's why
that comes down to a few different things though. Like when video games are sold, they're not sold with the intentions of people grading them and knowing how many copies there are. But like when the cards are, like, the audience is, they're selling it to people who might speculate on thinking that they're going to be worth it, and that, like limited run games, for example. Like their audience is to sell, with that speculation that this is a collectability. I like to bring up a point of if you want to collect, you should go for organic collectability, something that was sold without the intention of it to be collectible. And there's plenty of video games, like most of the PS3 library is all organic collectability. None of these games were sold with a certain number attached to them, and this is a low print run. But like modern games, especially PS4 collecting, has a lot of artificial collectability, where these companies are selling them with the intentions of it selling out, everyone holding their copies, flipping them on eBay. And I try and tell people that, like, in the long run, organic collectability is the one that's really going to hold out over artificial collectability.
Sure. I mean, I definitely see it that way too. You're right. I mean, like some of this organic collectability, like, it's not, like you said, it's not intended to be collected, really. People make it collectible, or it is collectible, right? But it's not designed to be that way. And
Fortnite, perfect example. Like,
it's so volatile, right?
To be collectible.
You just never know what's going to happen with that item. Like, it's either going to get opened, it might sit on a shelf for a while, but you just never know. But it's pretty interesting.
It definitely is interesting, and like if you're just getting into collecting, it's an interesting way to think about, like, rare. What is rare? Is it rare because they told you it was rare and there's only a certain amount of copies out there, or is it rare because when one goes on eBay, there's 100 people out there all trying to buy it?
There's certainly a decent amount of speculation on the sports side of it. I don't collect. I only really collect what I like. For example, like, I don't speculate on cards. I like a lot of the 90s stuff because I like the designs. The designs were, like, really out there, and they did some crazy stuff with, like, refractors and just, crazy, foil stuff. And that's the style that I like. I collect some modern stuff for players that I like, but I don't, if a player is doing really good that season, and I think his card's going to go up, like, I don't do that.
and I was just about to bring that up. Like, there's crazy things in the basketball scene. Like, if a player they think is going to be good, people will buy 1,000 copies of their rookie card at $20 each. Thinking, all right, if this guy has a good season and wins Rookie of the Year, I can flip all these for $100 each at the end of the year.
Right. And you just don't really. I mean, I guess you could do it for games if you think, like, oh, I'm going to buy all these copies of Mario because the new Mario's movie's coming out, and I think the prices of these games are going to skyrocket because people are going to see the Mario movie and get nostalgic, and the price, people are going to be actively hunting for these. I guess you could do the same with games, but it's a little different because with sports, like, the players, for example, if a player does something controversial or they get injured, and there's so many variables there that can influence the price of the card. Whereas the game, there's not a ton of, like, real world things that are going to affect the price. Like, Mario is not going to get a DUI or something like that.
And they're getting canceled or something.
Mario, all those bastards are drunk on Mario Kart. You see how they drive?
You're right, though, and they say you shouldn't invest in a celebrity until they pass away, because then the influence of that celebrity isn't really going to change. But even today, with the internet, things happen, and even people that have passed away, things come out. And
Sure. Yeah.
Well, real quick, did you guys watch the PlayStation showcase that aired earlier this week?
I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the event.
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Very disappointing. They're like fully pushing digital only releases now, which is bullshit.
Oh, talking about Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, and it justified. Well, we can keep the price at this price because we don't have to make all the plastic. Like, fuck off.
Well, was that a Twitter photo I shared with you? THQ.
Yeah, THQ have come in and said they actually tweeted at them and said, "Hey guys, we want to help you make a physical for this game.
Yeah.
And maybe a physical, it might be a collector's edition. Who knows?"
Well, just a quick plug. Earlier in the week, I went on the Loot Bros podcast, and we discussed resident Daryl. He's heading things up over there. Go watch it or go listen to it on your favorite wherever you listen to your podcast. And we discussed. Everyone made predictions for what we're hoping would come on the showcase, and it's a good show. So just wanted to plug that. So go watch Daryl. I'm guesting. And he wants us both to come on at some point, Figsy.
Cool.
I don't suggest you listen to it, Figsy, because we bust some Australian balls in the episode. So, but yeah, Loot Bros podcast, good shit. What time? Oh shit, we've passed the 2-hour mark.
It's been heaps of fun. I've been enjoying the chat. I did have one question for you, Dan. I could probably find this information on the website itself, but in terms of you guys' great video games, but there's a lot of like big box stuff and collector's editions. Have you guys getting into doing that for modern systems? Last time I looked, you guys didn't do that for the PS3.
No, not yet. I mean, I don't know if we're going to at some point. I mean, our focus right now is on offering more sizes on other things we don't do currently. For example, like Famicom, Super Famicom, some of the more vintage stuff. Just different of the smaller, different SKUs of the smaller sizes. But in terms of big box collector's edition, stuff like that, that's a little trickier because there isn't a uniform size for them ever. They're all like all sorts of shapes and sizes, and it's hard to build a case around that unless you're doing like custom acrylic. We don't do custom acrylic, and there's several reasons why. And unless we went that route, it'd be pretty hard to manufacture a enclosed case how we have now, like a 1-piece case or 2-piece case that would fit like most things. So
I guess everything's a little bit different, so it's not like a one-size-fit-all type solution.
Yeah, and that's been the struggle with like big box PC. Like we just launched small box PC because they're like maybe a little more predictable, but big box, like the sizes vary so slightly, and we use a blister inside of our cases, so it has to fit within that blister, and that blister protects the game if the case ever falls off the shelf or whatever. The blister basically absorbs the energy, and it doesn't transfer over to the game. You don't get a cracked case, etc. So because of that blister, it makes it hard to kind of offer the big box stuff. So we're looking at different solutions to be able to offer a big box PC. But yeah, in terms of like collector's edition PS4 stuff, it's going to be a little trickier on those ones.
Yeah, so I guess that answers my questions. You guys, no console grading, nothing big giant like that yet.
No.
What is the biggest thing? I guess they're all pretty much the same. I'm trying to think of the biggest acrylic case you guys for what console? Or is it would it be a Super Nintendo box?
Atari 2600, I think, is our biggest box. I guess you could maybe count the PS1, the early PS1 long boxes.
Oh, yeah.
We grade those. Same with like Sega Saturn, Sega CD. They use almost the same case on some of those. So I think those are our biggest sizes.
It would get so hard when you're doing bigger things too, because then like there's so many more ways you can fake them and fill them up with things. And I've seen VGA do like graded consoles and stuff, and it's just like you got all that weight inside this box now, and then like more things come into it, well then you've got to ship it back to this person.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you drop something that big off a shelf, that's a lot of weight that's being shifted around. So yeah,
what if you graded a Game Boy and the batteries leaked? Like,
yeah, it's a possibility for sure.
One more question on that type of stuff. Do you guys do like slip covers like this?
So yes and no. So for the DVD size games, I'm talking like PS2, Xbox 360, all that stuff. We can do those at this time. For PS3 or anything in a Blu-ray case, our blister needs to be adjusted slightly, so they don't currently fit in our current blister for PS3, Xbox or Xbox One, Series X, PS5. They don't fit currently, but they will soon.
Okay,
So-
that's good to know, because I personally don't have any graded games.
Yeah.
For me, they wouldn't fit on the shelf. But I've got some nice slip covers that are worth a lot of money that every time you move them, I'm afraid of damaging them. So to me, it makes sense grading those type of things, because then I can always have them in good condition.
For sure. And something that people don't really think about is that you don't have to grade your game. You could just certify it as genuine. And instead of getting a number grade, it just says GEN for genuine. Basically, you're just authenticating the item and putting it in a holder. So basically what that's saying is that it's been authenticated, it's 100% legit, and it comes in a nice case so that it's protected, UV protected, and like I said, it's in the blister. So if one day you were to drop it off the shelf or pick it up, we've all been there. We've gotten a game off the shelf, it's fallen on the ground, cracks or whatever. That way,
I got it with a $300 game.
yeah, it's rough, man. But yeah, I mean, it like I said, the blister absorbs the energy, so it just the blister may break, it may not, depending on how high the fall is. But yeah, it's protected and it's genuine, but no grade on those.
So these cases they're UV protecting as well, so it's not going to fade in the sunlight.
Yeah. So as long as you, it's rated, and I can't remember off the top of my head right now on the new case, but they're rated up to a certain point. So yeah, they have UV protection on the cases.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Another reason for grading.
I've got some items that are digital code only, and one of them's just artwork. So because of that reason, like it's very likely to be faked. But like that would be a type of item that I would like to get graded, where the average just video game that's sealed, I just prefer to keep it sealed on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's just more practical for me. And when you got like 5,000 video games, and then you're running out of space.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely adds that padding on each side. So, I get why people don't grade everything, but I personally, like I said, I grade all the stuff that I grew up with, the stuff that means a lot to me, the stuff that's really rare. I don't grade everything. So, just depends on your preference.
Some people do, and that's if they want to collect everything graded. They want to collect everything graded, and that's great on them.
Yeah.
We got one guy who came on here, and he's got one of the biggest collections you'll ever see, full sets, and he opens every single game he gets. That's just what he wants to do. And his principle is he wants to know that the game on the shelf is basically brand new condition. And that makes sense. He knows every game on his shelf he bought brand new, and it's a new game.
Yeah.
Not a reseal, it's not a used game, and he knows that. And that's how he collects.
Is that like with modern games, or is that like through? Is that vintage?
Oh, he opens everything and it hurts.
Are we talking about Sean again?
Yeah, we're talking about Sean.
Oh, damn it! Damn him!
Hey, he's keeping them. I mean, most of us are going to keep our Seal games right forever.
Yeah, it's his games. He can do what he wants.
No, he can't. He needs to collect the way I like, or not at all. Oh man, fucking Sean.
Speaking of Sean and James will be coming on the podcast during the week. We're going to have a bonus episode this week. Is it Wednesday night? Well, is that correct?
Dude, I don't know. I got a memory like a goldfish. I can't remember.
I think it's Wednesday night, Thursday morning for Australian viewers. We'll put times out later in the week, so stay tuned for that. They're both going for full PS5 sets. So if you have questions for people going for a full PS5 set, if you want to talk about like what is involved with a PS5 set, tune into that episode. It should be quite interesting. And it's a crazy task going for a system that you don't know what's going on with it.
The first thing you need for a full PS5 set is just a touch of insanity. So yeah, those guys are a little out there.
I think that's a good point. Like if you're going for a full set from day one, you're going to know more information about that system than anyone who picks it up 5-10 years later, because you're not only following like what's getting released, you looking up, all right, Amazon's doing this game, GameStop's got this game, Target have an exclusive here, and you're seeing these as they're coming out. Like I collected a full PS3 set, but I was only buying them from 2013 onwards. I wasn't there 2007 going, what variants are out there? What's different about this? And I missed all that information. And like Daniel touched on the Wayback Machine, you can go back and research as much as you can, but you're never going to get that genuine experience of being there day one unless you're actually there.
I feel like there's so many sleeper like releases too that it's like so tough because you really have to be on top of just random releases that no one's watching, right? Like, I remember going in. I haven't been to a GameStop in a long time, but I remember walking in a GameStop and then all of a sudden like there's all these like obscure publishers who put out these like JRPGs. And I'm like, oh man, like what is this? Where did this come from? I've never even heard of this. Or all these indie releases, right? Like, so you just I feel like that's super tough because you really have to be on top of it.
It's almost overwhelming today compared to 10, 15 years ago. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I'd say getting full sets back in the day was a lot easier, but I mean, full sets are never easy. But
yeah,
if you're looking like a full PS4 set or a full Switch set, like you couldn't even give a number that would be close to 500 on what they're going to be.
Yeah, it's so important to collect the stuff now. I think they're doing it right because you think of all the people who collect for like the Atari or the NES, like there are people super dedicated people who spend their entire day just or free time just trying to uncover information from 40 years ago. But the people who are collecting PS5 sets, the information's right in front of their face. It's fresh. It's more easily obtainable. They don't have to wait 30, 40 years to start researching. They can research it right now. No one was researching NES back in the day because it was the new thing, and it was just a different time. But yeah,
and yeah, there is that whole middle ground too. Like what you said before is people today would buy 2 copies, keep one sealed, and sell one. Like you don't have to go into it with that attitude of you keeping everything sealed, because modern products are going to be so much more available in the future sealed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the reprint era that we all belong to now.
I think people are just aware that like sealed games hold their value, and sealed things. So there's a lot of people out there who just hold on to sealed stuff, and people holding on to these limited run game collections aren't going to make millions of dollars in the future, because guess what? Everyone's doing that, and then eBay's just going to be flooded and the price will go down.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe as we get closer to digital only, whenever that may be, and like maybe you have one of these, like I said, one of these indie publishers who put out, I don't know, make 1,000 copies of a game, maybe those will be something, and you never know.
I think it will be, but it will come back to what I touched on before. It'll be that organic collectability. It'll be one indie game that's put out because the developer hasn't got much money. They want to get a physical out there, but it turns out that it's a really good game. People find out about it and people buy it not because it's rare, but because it's a good game and they want to play it.
Yeah.
And then because of these factors, like down the line, that will become the rare and expensive game.
Yeah.
Guys, we are 2 hours, 15 minutes in. Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Guys, this is PlayStation Collectors Podcast. I've been Figsy, this has been Will. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.
All right. Thanks,
Good
guys.
night, everybody.